Hi, I'm Paul Comfort, and this is Transit Unplugged, the world's leading podcast diving into all things public transportation. We are the location for transit nerds to find out what's happening, the latest and greatest in the industry. And man, have we got a great show for you today. Get this, the Miami-Dade County Department of Transportation and Public Works has broken ground and begun construction on their state-of-the-art transit operations center that will charge, service, operate, and maintain and house its new sustainable fleet of battery electric buses. This facility is the first of its kind in the U.S. and is the first all-electric facility and the first to accommodate up to 100 articulated, zero-emission battery electric buses. And as our guest for today's show, excited to have my good friend Eulois Cleckley, who is Director and CEO of the Miami-Dade County Department of Transportation and Public Works. And joining him is the fellow who is in charge of overseeing the construction, Angel Chavarria, who is Senior Vice President and Alternative Delivery Project Director at WSP. This is a great, innovative program they've got going on down there. And get this, they're going to use this garage to help facilitate their brand new 20-mile BRT line with all-electric vehicles. It's going to have 14 iconic stations that are already under construction. And this is, like I tell Eulois on the show, you guys got it all going on. It's the center of gravity for all things cool and new, I think, is coming to Miami, and this is no exception. Dive in with me now as we talk to Eulois and Angel, unpacking this great new project coming to Miami. Eulois, thanks for being on the show again.
Yes, Paul, it's always great to be here, so appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we've also got with us on the show today, Angel Chavarria, who is SVP with WSP. Good, a lot of initials. Angel, Thanks for being with us today, man.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Great to have you here. In addition to being Senior Vice President of WSP, you're also the Alternative Delivery Project Director, which is what we're going to talk about today. A great new project for an alternative source of energy, which a lot of transit agencies are looking at, which is battery electric buses. The other big ones on the scene right now, obviously, are hydrogen power. And then some people are still looking at CNG as all kind of lower and no emissions. Eulois, what's the game plan there in Miami? What brought you all to this? You are building, I think, the first and largest of its kind battery electric bus garage. 160-foot articulated buses, man. That's massive.
Yeah, it is. And we are excited about this opportunity for building out what we call the nation's, if not the world's largest, all battery electric bus innovative transportation operations center. And we affectionately named this project the South Dade Transit Operations Center. Okay. And that was done purposefully because it's more than just a place to store buses. We are embarking on essentially a revolution in transportation and mobility here in South Dade. One, from a energy standpoint with respect to ensuring that we're meeting the goals that's been set by our current administration and our Board of County Commissioners to electrify our fleet, where right now we plan to have upwards to 10% of our fleet, between 10 and 20% of our fleet to be all electric buses. And the second piece of that is that we are expanding rapid transit options for those that live here in the county. And this project was critical on both of those fronts because we are building the longest all battery electric BRT bus rapid transit system in the world. It's 20 miles along our existing transit way that will connect the furthest municipality called Florida City to eventually downtown Miami and provide great service and connections there from a mass transit standpoint. So in order for us to be able to fulfill those two high level initiatives, we needed to have a new facility, and that's what this facility will provide. The South Dade Transit Operations Center will be one that will be innovative, state-of-the-art, and will provide a fantastic facility for not only our buses to be charged in an efficient manner, but also for all of our employees to enjoy as they provide great service for the county.
Very, very great description of it. So on Tuesday, June 25th, the Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava and Miami-Dade County Commission Chairman Oliver Gilbert, along with you, I imagine, Eulois and a bunch of other people, broke ground on this project, huh?
We did. We got a little bit dirty because actually there was active construction going on that day. So it was great to see our contractors really hit the ground running. As soon as we got approval from our board, we issued a notice to proceed very quickly. And And the team has done a great job. And this was the entire process was extremely innovative from how we essentially needed to pivot to make sure that we're delivering this project in accordance with the schedule that we were laying out. So we needed to be very aggressive and accelerate a lot of phases of the project. And I'm very proud of our ability to be able to deliver on this most important project. It wasn't without gnashing of teeth, everything from finding an actual location. We had to work with the district commissioner, Commissioner Keone McGee, to actually use 20 of a 47-acre property that Miami-Dade County owned, which was actually a surplus property right near the Air Force Base there in Homestead. Okay. And we were able to leverage that property basically at a nominal cost for the county to build this facility, and at the same time actually satisfy a community need to provide an entertainment district for this area within the county. And so we were able to get to a point where we used 20 acres of this particular site for our purposes, and the other 27 acres are going to be used for entertainment district in the future. So it's ultimately going to be a win-win for the community, for our service, and we're looking forward to delivering this project on time and on budget in the next year and a half.
Miami really is, Eulois, kind of, you and I have had this conversation before, but to me, it's the new center of gravity for kind of what's exciting happening in America. It's, New York City's always been considered, a hub, and LA and Chicago, the big cities, but tech and all the excitement, the sports teams, the great weather. I mean, Miami's got it all going on.
It's really, to your point, the epicenter, I think, of what not only would be the U.S., but eventually probably the world, right? Everybody kind of points to Miami as what's going on new, what's fresh and innovative. And I think there's a culture and energy here that people appreciate. And that's why we continue to see more people moving to South Florida. And of course, with that, it's our job on the public sector side, and especially those of us who are in infrastructure and transportation, to make sure that we are supporting all the people that are moving here from a mobility standpoint, and always looking at ways to be more efficient and provide better service moving forward. And so this project really exemplifies that, where we're trying to be future ready, as our mayor says, for that type of growth, and to be able to support really more efficient ways for people to be able to get around. At the same time, while people move down here, the cost of living has skyrocketed. And so that merger between access, good, solid, reliable transportation at a good cost will allow people to stay here within the county and allow a good, solid way for the employee base to continue to grow moving forward.
To pay for this $245 million project, the agency was able to tap into the People's Transportation Plan, or PTP, which is a half-penny surtax that started in 2002 exactly for projects like this, making sure South Florida's mass transit could expand as the population grew. Eulois continued to say that this project's goal is to serve the fastest growing part of the county now and into the future, while also making sure everything they do is done sustainably.
We wanted this project to ensure that we are using this new facility to be able to help support our South Corridor, our BRT project. But also we plan on having this facility be one that will really service the fastest growing area within the county, which is this kind of the southern part and the municipalities in the southern part of the county. We do have several local bus routes as well that require 60-foot articulated buses to be able to serve. And this will be, again, a great facility that will be closer to where those routes originate from, and still be in a position where we can actually use a battery electric bus to provide an emissions-free type of environment for those communities, but also save taxpayer dollars over time, which is always critical, making sure that we are doing good site placement for these types of facilities so we reduce overall costs. This is the first time in the past 40 years that we've been in a position to actually build a new operations center that services our buses from a maintenance standpoint and an overall operations standpoint.
From the construction timeline to features like lifts to reach the top of buses, this facility is packed with innovations, inside and out. Solar power, xeriscaping around the building, everything to make this one of the most sustainable and efficient transportation centers in the world. The whole facility will be 8 or 9 buildings with over 400,000 square feet of space, a massive undertaking for any project, but in this case, there were extra challenges that needed innovative solutions to solve. Beyond having to compress a 40-acre project into 20 acres, they were in completely uncharted waters for a critical part of the building's design, fire protection. So I asked WSP's Angel Chavarria about his role and some of the challenges they faced to get a project like this off the ground. Tell us about your role and what WSP is doing.
Yes. As the director said, basically the county needed to pivot. So they came to us to see if we could basically deliver this facility. And we took an innovative approach in because again, what's critical is the schedule. So we were basically tasked with the design of the facility. So WSP is basically the designer. During the design phase, we did that in about 10 months. We went from a 15% conceptual design to a 100% set of plans. And we had to overlap some phases in the project schedule in order to accelerate, and get to construction so that the facility could be opened up in time by when the buses are going to come. And that's basically when the county is envisioning to start revenue service on the DRT corridor. Construction started on June 10th of this year. And WSP, we're basically doing construction administration, reviewing shop drawings, RFIs, and making sure, assisting the contractor stay on track.
Angel, as I was researching this, one other very innovative design I thought was this retractable platform, which is installed on the bus rooftops where the batteries are charged so that when the bus backs in, the maintenance staff can step directly on and off the roof. Can you tell us about that and why that was included and what that's going to do to make things better?
Good question. Well, you did your research. That's a very excellent feature that we introduced to this. Obviously, you see that in rail and transit projects. And I have a transit background myself, rail and transit background. So in our team, WSP team basically wanted to bring lessons learned from other projects. And as the director said, we want to provide the best facility possible for staff to do their daily work. So this platform, retractable platform, provides the ability for staff to do their job in a safe manner and basically without any fall protection, which means it's hands-free, right? They're basically, when the bus backs in, the platforms are retracted. The bus can pull back in. Once it's docked, the platform will extend and they basically touch the bus. They have a rubber compound that extends for the length of the platform. So it won't damage the bus and makes contacts. And that's how it knows where to stop. Basically, people are able to step on and off and provide, a working platform where they can basically not have to worry about having fall protection or ladders, which again is about efficiency, right? And safety. So we introduced this element for those reasons. And most of the equipment, Paul, is on top of the roof.
Okay.
That's where the pantographs are and the fuel cells for the buses and the AC. So it's basically, it affords the opportunity for staff to gain access to those systems on top of it.
So Angel, one of the interesting things about building a facility like this, not only is the fact that you've got to get it rolling in the next year or two, right? Portions will open next summer and then the whole thing will open in 2 years. But also, I'm sure, an innovative facility like this, you came across some challenges. Tell us about what they might have been and how you've addressed them.
Yeah, one in particular challenge that we faced was the fire protection for the parking garage. As the director mentioned previously, the site was originally much larger. It was a 40-acre site, and it got reduced to 20 acres. And in order for us to fit the entire program, we basically had to go vertical, trying to fit 100 articulated buses. And in addition, employee parking for all the employees. We basically had to build a structure, a one level parking garage. And basically the program calls for the buses to charge on the first level. We engaged the fire department at the very beginning and we developed a methodology. We brought in our tunnel experts from WSP to basically develop a methodology, a design methodology that we use on tunnels. And we basically developed a model. And the model basically predicts the heat curve that is generated by these buses. So once we developed the heat curve and the methodology, we presented it to the fire department, given that there are no codes. We want to make sure that they were on board with what we were doing in terms of analysis and design. And when it came down to submitting the plans for permitting, we got basically zero comments on the design because everything was vetted with the independent reviewer and and the fire department. And what that entailed was basically we provided several measures of protections. One was a physical, meaning physical in terms of clearances between the buses and the structure itself, making sure that that we had sufficient height between the bottom of the structure and the buses. The second was basically a fire sprinkler system that is partitioned in zones. Obviously, being a large garage, we cannot have the entire system going up once because the volume of water is tremendous. As you may know, battery electric fires you cannot put out. You can only contain. So the design methodology is basically to contain the fire, preventing from spreading into other buses and limiting the damage to the structure. And then the third phase that we did, Paul, is basically we're adding a passive fire protection. Is basically to all the structure. And this, what it does is insulates the structure from heat. That way we prevent spalling and the heat getting to the structure. We want to make sure that the structure integrity remains as is.
Eulois, you mentioned that this is not just going to be a bus garage where you charge and maintain, but you're going to have other things going on there. Tell us about that.
Right. What is an exciting aspect of this facility is that we are going to be adding in additional support types of activities. And so the biggest one is our emergency backup for bus operations. And so you have to have that type of redundancy that's necessary, especially in South Florida, where even though our weather is great, there are times where you have inclement weather and you need to be prepared to be able to respond effectively. So we're excited about that. We're also excited about the fact that we will have more administrative space than what we previously have been working with our 3 existing bus garages. This really needs to be a community asset. So one, having the space for training for our operators, but also a communal space for the overall public is something that we've included in this specific design. So it can truly be an asset that can be considered one that's valuable for the surrounding neighborhood. But also other amenities that sometimes you don't pay attention to because we're so focused on having the facility just to maintain our buses and the like. But we're gonna have a space that is there to maintain the gate arms that we're going to be using on our BRT system. So that's important to have that type of location for our crews to be able to consistently maintain those gate arms in an effective way. But also amenities for our employees that will be housed out of this facility. We anticipate of having approximately 270 jobs that are created as a part of building this facility. And it's important that for all of those positions where people have to show up to work and our operators who are taxed every single day to do their job, that they have places to relax and the like and wind down from their day. And so we are building some unique spaces and driver lounges and the like that will allow folks to relax, and then also building a place for individuals to take care of themselves and work out and have a wellness center as well. So it's an opportunity to do what's best in the industry to take care of our employees so they can go out and do their jobs to the best of their ability.
That sounds exciting. I hope in 2 years we can come down and show the world on our TV show some of the garage, because it sounds like it's going to be groundbreaking technology and service for your customers as well as your employees. Let's talk about what this is going to serve. So you've got this phenomenal, cutting edge, state of the art electric bus garage, charging facility, maintenance facility, plus all your administrative offices. And then that's going to serve your brand new BRT. Tell us how that all ties together and what the BRT is going to look like.
We are very close to being substantially complete with our 20-mile all battery electric bus operated bus rapid transit system, where we are building actually what we call 14 iconic BRT stations. So these stations will have air conditioned vestibules, will have ticket vending machines and the like, will be level platform boarding, have travel information screens and the like, and will all be covered, and one that's kind of climate controlled for our customers. So we're very excited about this. We've been working very diligently on erecting all of these 14 stations, and it's amazing to see how people are now starting to react and understand what we're actually building, because it's not just your regular bus stop. We are building something that is really going to be phenomenal, and one that is going to be at the highest levels of design and construction for this type of BRT service. We are on track with being substantially complete with all 14 stations by the end of this year, with the intent of being in revenue service at the beginning part of 2025. And so that's why it's necessary to make sure that we work with our partners in the industry, WSP and the like, to be able to design the operations center in a very expedited manner, but also to be able to bring on a contractor to build this facility in accordance with the schedule that we've laid out. We've also received 2 test buses, the 60-foot articulated buses. These are New Flyer buses that are, again, all battery electric operated vehicles. And we are in the initial stages of testing not only the range on the specific vehicle, but also how they interact with our BRT stations moving forward. And our vendor, New Flyer, has been doing a good job in keeping up with their production schedules and the like to make sure we're staying on track with the overall project schedule. So we're excited about this project. This project, again, is one of the corridors in our People's Transportation Plan. This project was funded by the county at $100 million, by the state, the Florida Department of Transportation, $100 million, and then FTA at $100 million. And we're working actively to bring this project to fruition. And once it's built and complete and gets into revenue service, it will be a game changer for people living in the southern part of the county, where somebody living in Florida City, if they want to travel to downtown, it's essentially taking them an hour and 45 minutes on a good day. By this new service, this will reduce that travel time by over 30%. And people will have around a 45-minute travel time from that southern municipality that we have here in the county to downtown. The other aspect of the corridor that we're building is that the 20 miles for the BRT will actually end up connecting you to a new intermodal facility that we're building that will be able to transfer people from the BRT service onto our existing Metro Rail service. And that way they can take our Metro Rail to go downtown and to other locations between Dayland South and downtown Miami. So we're excited about this, and this is a project that the community has been waiting on, and we're really in a great position to remain on budget and on schedule.
That's wonderful, Eulois. You really have it all going on, and thank you for taking this time today to share it with us.
Hey, thank you for listening to this really fascinating episode of Transit Unplugged. Hi, I'm Tris Hussey, editor of the podcast, and I'd like to thank our guests, Eulois Cleckley and Angel Andre Chavarria, for their time to talk to us about this amazing electric bus charging and maintenance facility. Now, coming up next week, we go across the pond to Europe and Vienna. We hear from Alexander Reinigal, CEO of Wienerlinien, the transit agency that provides multimodal solutions to this beautiful and amazing city of 2 million people. Transit Unplugged is brought to you by Modaxo. At Modaxo, we're passionate about moving the world's people, and at Transit Unplugged, we're passionate about telling those stories. So until next week, ride safe and ride happy.